And especially on this map, I should be on busy. Especially on this map, where it is so hard to defend every area of the map with ground units. Because this, can't, well, looks like those units are stuck there for some reason. A little bit. There they go. This player doesn't have an expansion. He's even starting to run out of minerals. And I suggest to circle around to hit their other side, because all of their army is right here. But it doesn't even really matter. It's just, it would take so long for that army to get down here compared to how long it takes for Mutalisks, that it doesn't even matter if he'd just flown all the way down. Some stalkers here are going to push that back though after they do some harassment. See if this starport burns down or not. And one of our opponents finally flying a command center over here. And my ally scouting with scoutlings, which is very strong. Always being aware of what your opponent's doing is extremely important in every game. And here I'm going to push a little bit because I know my opponent's forces are just so scattered around the map at this point. Here they are. I wanted to actually draw them out, to draw them into these siege tanks. And that's exactly what I did. The Terran player's not around. The Protoss player didn't know what my army was doing. And because this ramp is so far forward of my base, I really just was able to take out a bunch of Protoss forces, almost this whole army, before the Terran could even respond. Take a look at the income again. Really just my ally expanding again over here, but even without it, my ally has a lot of harvesters actually, and especially needs a lot of gas to be able to fund all these Mutalisks, getting Mutalisk upgrades. I'm getting a lot of spine crawlers for some reason, even though I have this good forward position, because the enemy sets up, one of our opponents sets up right here, which is good, but notice it doesn't completely guard this area where we can get through and harass these expansions like mine does, or at least does better. Here my ally going for some harass again, sees that some of this player's army is over here. We see that some of this army is over here, and the Mutalisks are just in position to be able to take out any workers. And I wanted to cut some of these units off to be able to do damage to them. So I go forward. Their armies are still not grouped up again. I pretty much take out the Protoss' whole force again. And my brother takes out this, basically takes out this whole expansion. Goes down. They try to get some missile turrets up. There's not even a planetary fortress here. They're so hurting on income because really this is their only mining base. The main base is basically out. Take out those few missile turrets. Mutalisks come back in, and somehow I think it was a changeling. A changeling ran through here, and I saw this fleet beacon as it was warping in. So as it was warping in, I would have no idea what it was, except I clicked on it before the changeling ran out of range, and that's how I knew it was a fleet beacon. And I saw these 3 warp stargates. At that point, let's see here, I get Vikings, because I didn't want to lose to, unfortunately there's no more Flux Veins upgrade. Flux Vein will be missed, just because. I wasn't sure, even if he got the Fleet Beacon, I wasn't sure if he'd go Void Ray, Phoenix, or Carrier. I noticed that this command center was burning down and had almost blown up. And I didn't actually see him do it because I was macroing or microing somewhere. And that's what I was talking about there. I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, did you do that? And here we go. I really want to take his army off guard because their army is still so split. There's this army here, there's this army here, and really they're not doing any sort of counter harass or anything like that. So we can pretty much pick and choose where we want to engage at this point because their army is so split up. I've set up more siege tanks by watchtowers, and this whole army, even though they have an observer here, they probably could have gone around here and shot these, try to at least shoot at these siege tanks from the low ground. But for some reason, maybe they moved or something like that. But we just took out half of his army, about half of his army. There's another group here that wasn't in position to be able to defend. But really this is so many mutalisks. See how many, a group and a half of mutalisks, that's about 40 something, 50 something mutalisks. And really at this point they probably can't even macro up a force to be able to handle that many mutalisks. And besides my army, let's see, the army tab here, we each have more than double their armies. And the income, this player doesn't even have any income, and this one is so low he's only mining off this one base. Because one reason why I want to talk about this a little bit before too long, but that one reason I try to mass expand now is because on this map, if they hit one of them, they can be, and we have good positioning, we can try to outposition our opponent and be able to catch them off guard. But what they didn't do is they didn't try to mass expand, and really these two Zerglings they haven't even gone over to try to expand because those Zerglings are still there. But we know basically we can just continue forward and start to gain the advantage here, or start to tick down the game clock, so to speak, at some point. This is something I've wanted to do lately, is be able to attack from this position. Actually, last game I cast on this map is I actually wanted to nuke from across here, but I didn't get the opportunity. And so instead I sieged tanks from over here, and I wanted to be able to siege his worker line, because this is his only mining base. And they scan over here, realize how much units are really here, and say good game, and that was it. This might not necessarily look like a lot of mutalisks, but down here in the group tab, that is actually more than 2 groups of mutalisks. Only 2 groups alone is 64, and that's about 70 something mutalisks with 3-0 upgrades. And this game was definitely over, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching my video, and if you like it, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and hopefully I'll see you next time. And actually I'm going to talk a little bit to myself, because lately it's been cutting off the sound at the end a little bit, and I don't want my final comments to be cut off, so I'm going to